So the first thing you want to do is sketch out your face, and be sure to sketch out the value pattern as well. Once you've done that, you will take a clean piece of steel wool and you will steel wool over the surface of the drawing. Now you want to make sure that you get rid of these little fibers from the steel wool. Put them in the garbage so that you're not getting them in your clothing or in your skin, because they can be an irritant. I'm just going to brush mine off to the side so that I don't have to move my paper for the demo. But if I wasn't filming, I would get up and then knock all of it off into the trash can. So first step is to start looking for the color that is beneath the skin tone. So beyond the tone that we typically would see. For instance, local color. So the local color we would say is brown. But what kind of brown? Is it red, which is a reddish orange right here? It's a reddish orange, and then it moves into almost a purple red. Up here, it's a little in between orange red and purple red. Here, in her crease in her eyelid, there is a little bit more blue. So you're looking for those undertones. And don't worry about the intensity, because you're going to cover up the intensity in the layering process. See how intense that starts out? I'm putting the pigment on very lightly, like I'm barely even touching the surface of the drawing paper. You want to make sure that in everything that you do with these drawings, it's very light touch. You don't want to burnish or bear down too hard with the chalk, or with the charcoal if you're adding any charcoal, or with the steel wool, or with the blending stump. Any of the tools that you're using, you want to make sure that it's a very light touch. The other thing you want to do is make sure that your chalk is clean. So using a scrap piece of paper off to the side to clean any dirt or other colors off of your chalk, because that way you're not getting these weird colors from or on top of the yellow into your actual drawing. Seeing a little bit of reflected color right against her cheek right here. It's kind of a fuchsia, kind of a pinky purple. I'm seeing a little bit of blue. Notice how, because these chalks are so pigmented, I'm just adding a tiny little bit as I go. Just enough to get a little bit of that undertone that I'm looking for. A little bit of blue there. In the eye crease. A little bit of blue here. So you see how it starts out really crazy looking. But again, as you begin to layer, it will start to come together more like a puzzle. Okay, so having a piece of steel wool for your darks and cool colors, and then another piece of steel wool for your light and warm colors. Just like I talk about using a blending stump, one side being dark values, one side being light values. Same rules apply here, because what you don't want to do is, let's say that you're using this for cool and dark values, cool colors and dark values, and then you use it on top of this after you've mixed that, then you're just going to muddy everything and it's going to turn all brown and gross. So the little guy is going to be for my darker values, and the bigger one is going to be for my lighter and more warm tones. And I'm just fluffing up the fibers a little bit more. That also helps to blend some of those colors. I'm not bearing down too much. I'm just lightly dusting the surface with it. And I'm going to come in with my warm one. So again, crazy looking, but trust the process. So remember I said reserve a blending stump for darks and another blending stump for lights, or if you've got dual ends, but I'm going to do dark and light. So I'm going to use this to blend a little bit in my darker areas. You have to be very light with your touch because it will take off some of the pigment. You can also draw with your blending stump, so I want to get a little bit more detailed in here. So I'm going to add a little bit of light right above her eyelash. A little bit of bright pink just on top of that blue. Still not burnishing, just lightly adding a light layer of light value over top to kind of marry all of the underneath colors. I also have this Conte Sanguine, kind of like a chalk pencil, and then I have a brown one, a sepia toned one, that I'll sometimes use. If you have chalk pencils, in addition to the chalk pastels, you can use them interchangeably. And I'm going to start defining the eye and the eyebrow just a bit so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the brown pencil for that.